Hello, this is Mark Satterfield, and welcome to the Velvet Rope Playbook. Tonight's chapter: The Power of the Room: Lessons from Private Equity and Venture Clubs. If you're not in the room, you're not in the deal. That's the unspoken rule behind exclusive investor clubs like Tiger 21. For those who aren't familiar, Tiger 21 is a private peer network where ultra high net worth individuals, usually people with at least 10 million to invest, come together to share ideas, evaluate opportunities, and hold each other accountable. It isn't just about investing, it's about belonging. And here's what makes it fascinating. People aren't paying $30,000 a year just for stock tips or deal flow. They're paying for something much rarer: curated peers. They're paying to be vetted, to be admitted, to know they're in the right room with the right people. That's the lesson for anyone who wants to attract more affluent clients. Exclusivity through peer group curation. People will pay handsomely to be vetted and admitted into an environment where the very presence of others signals value. Take David, a tech founder who sold his company in his early 40s. Overnight, he went from hustling in hoodies to managing $40 million. That's not an uncommon story these days. But David wasn't looking for another financial advisor. He was looking for peers who understood the strange new world he found himself in. So he joined Tiger 21. Suddenly, he wasn't just an ex founder with a liquidity event, he was part of a circle of people who got it. People who'd wrestled with the same issues: how to invest wisely, how to avoid being taken care of, how to explain sudden wealth to your kids without ruining them. For David, the real value wasn't the investment spreadsheets. It was walking into a room and not having to explain himself. That sense of belonging was priceless. So here's your takeaway. Affluent clients don't just buy services, they buy relief from isolation. The wealthier they are, the fewer people they feel they can talk to openly. Position yourself as the one who gets it without needing explanation, and you instantly become more attractive. And if you want to know how to create that effect in your own marketing, go to getwealthyclients.com and grab your copy of my book, Velvet Rope Story Selling. It will show you how to craft stories that make wealthy prospects feel like you're already part of their world before you've even met. That's getwealthyclients.com. One of the unique features of Tiger 21 is the portfolio defense. Imagine sitting at a table, laying out your entire portfolio and having a dozen multimillionaires poke holes in your thinking. Brutal? Yes. Valuable? Absolutely. But here's the thing: people pay to sit in that hot seat because they know they're being held accountable by people whose opinions matter. Think about how different that is from most client relationships. Most advisors tiptoe around their affluent clients. But here's the counterintuitive truth: many wealthy individuals are starved for accountability. They don't want another yes man. They want someone who will look them in the eye and say, "You're making a mistake, and here's why." This is another lesson for you. If you can position yourself as the rare voice of accountability, not confrontational, but candid, you'll stand out in a sea of flattery. There's another reason these clubs thrive: the gatekeeping. To get into Tiger 21, you can't just write a check. You have to be invited. You have to be vetted. And once inside, you know that every other person in the room has been through the same process. That's what makes the environment so valuable: trust by association. If you're in, you must be the real deal. Now ask yourself, how can you build a similar sense of trust into your own brand? It could be through a selective intake process, exclusive events, or even carefully framed testimonials that show you only work with a certain type of client. The wealthy don't mind paying more. In fact, they prefer it if they believe it's buying them exclusivity and selectivity. And again, this is where storytelling is critical. If you can tell stories that demonstrate exclusivity, stories that highlight your standards, your curation, your ability to filter who gets into your world, you'll attract more of the right clients and repel the wrong ones. And that's exactly what I lay out in my Amazon #1 best-selling book, Velvet Rope Story Selling. Head over to getwealthyclients.com and get your copy today and learn how to turn your brand into one that feels exclusive, elite, and magnetic to affluent buyers. That's getwealthyclients.com. A longtime member once described Tiger 21 like this: "It's not just about the investments, it's about the investments that only exist here." That's the hidden draw. Opportunities appear inside curated groups that would never surface in the public markets. Private equity deals, co-investments in venture funds, off-market real estate. That's another lesson for you. What do your clients get from you that they can't get anywhere else? What's your deal that only exists in the room? If you can articulate that, you can stop competing on price and start competing on exclusivity. Finally, consider this. These clubs don't just curate investments, they curate identity. When you sit in a room of 20 other ultra wealthy individuals, you're constantly measuring yourself against them, not in a petty way, but in a way that shapes your self image. You start to see yourself differently because of the people around you. That's the deepest insight of all. Affluent clients will pay extraordinary amounts to be in environments that reinforce the identity they want to project. Your role then isn't just to sell a service, it's to create a brand that acts as a mirror, reflecting back to your clients the identity they want to see in themselves. This is Mark Satterfield. Thanks for listening to this chapter of the Velvet Rope Playbook. If you're enjoying these stories and want to get better at using stories to attract more affluent clients, head over to getwealthyclients.com and get a free copy of my latest Amazon #1 bestsellers. That's getwealthyclients.com. Thanks again for listening. I'll be back at you soon with another chapter in the Velvet Rope Playbook. Bye for now.